Earthlings.
Hello, world.
How's everyone doing today?
How was your week?
It was good. I haven't done shit with my life, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, when you just sit in your room, you just look at the ceiling. You just
and
cherish.
you feel so good in that moment. Yeah, that's been me for the last week.
Just doing nothing is just such a blessing, you know?
Yeah, we did go to the Orlando City game. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Robert went to the Orlando City game.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We hung out with friends, we drank, had a good time, and then I went to Orlando City game. I tried to get her to come, but then I forgot to tell her that she needed to buy a ticket, and then tickets sold out. It's a long story, Long story.
Yeah, so I drove over there, and I couldn't go. But,
moving on!
moving right along to more important subjects. Today's topic we want to talk about is something that's very near and dear to our heart because I don't know if everyone knows, but we are from Orlando, and in 2016 we went through the Pulse shooting.
Me personally, I'm very big on taking out the emotion when talking about these type of topics, just because whenever you start talking about it, you get so emotional, then I feel like it loses the point and people just get wrapped up in the wrong idea and the wrong message and the wrong topic. The topic is why are we, or in my opinion, why are we allowing people to have these massive weapons? I get the whole Second Amendment and the right to bear arms, but at the same time, I don't get why a normal individual would need an AK-47. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that a lot of people are hanging on to the Second Amendment right of the right to bear arms. Which is fine. I'm not saying that people shouldn't have guns and people shouldn't be able to protect themselves. But as you said, there's absolutely no reason why the average person can go out and buy an AK-47. Because in what setting would you ever use that? I guess at a shooting range, but it's even then, there's just absolutely no reason for a person to even need to know what that feels like to fire or to get to practice on firing that gun. Do you know what I mean? Because in the US, all that it takes for someone to be able to buy a gun is to be 18 and pass a background check, which I'm 18 is really fucking young to be able to oh yeah, you can buy a gun if you want, so they can kill people, no big deal.
Yeah, your fucking frontal lobe, the part of your brain where you make decisions, isn't even fully developed till 24, 25. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we're allowing people who don't even have the ability to make a full hard-on decision, buy these massive weapons that can take out so many people at one time is crazy. And now that I'm sitting on the couch thinking about it, I'm it's selfish. It's people being selfish because it's the whole, I have my right, you can't take away my rights. It's just selfish because if that right is causing more harm to more people than it is good, then what's the point? What's the fucking point? We're just having it just to say I have it.
Exactly. You can't rent a car and you can't buy a drink or sit in a bar, but here's an AK-47. Have fun.
Yeah, when you really think about it, it's fucking crazy. And I guess that back in the day, there used to be wars and people would have to go out to war a lot younger and stuff like that. So maybe at that point, it was more necessary, yeah, but the older we've gotten, and as a country and as America, those type of things need to be reevaluated.
Yeah, exactly, because as a society, so much has changed, especially just in the last 5-10 years with all these shootings and stuff like that, that it's okay, well, we need to reevaluate where our country stands and the overall health of our country, because I think we're on our 17th mass shooting this year, and it's at the point now to where I think that we hear about mass shootings and everyone's so incredibly desensitized to it. I heard about the mass shooting and I'm oh wow, that's absolutely terrible, but then it's I remember when Columbine happened, which is one of the first mass shootings in American history that made big waves in the news. It was this life-altering multiple media covering this, and then people made different laws, people looked at things differently, and people remembered it for years. But now it's I feel after mass shootings happen and that blows over, a week later everyone forgets about it, and then we move on, and then another mass shooting happens and we're upset about it for a day, and then we move on, and it's these things aren't even making imprints in people anymore. They're kind of just oh yeah, another mass shooting.
It's just shitty that it's become the norm. It's the norm, so it's what people expect. And the whole idea of so many people losing their lives to
for nothing.
For nothing.
Absolutely
There's
nothing.
no purpose. There's no purpose at all. And I'm like, at the end of the day, why are we allowing these individuals to? And it's shitty to say. But I'm gonna say it. These white supremacist individuals who are taking lives, and it's like those are the main people who are like, we need to build a wall. We need to keep people out. We need to do this, and we're trying to keep who out? Like, you guys are already here. The terrorists that we need to be afraid of, and the people that we need to be afraid of, are already in our country.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like, yeah, everyone's stressing how we need to have more strict immigration laws, and we need to build a wall and keep everyone out. But yes, the danger is here. It is your white Americans that are doing all of these mass shootings. Like, the shooting in El Paso was a white male, and he had a white nationalist, like, manifesto that he uploaded online talking about, like, anti-immigration and, like, being a racist, obviously. And it's just like, when the media portrays these people, they're like, oh, there's been a shooting, there's a shooter, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, this is terrorism. You need to address these people as terrorists. You know, when you are attacking your people, the people of your country, that is terrorism. And it's like, only if it were a brown person or a Muslim, something like that, will they ever give them the name of terrorist, even if they're a citizen. But God forbid that it's a white person, all of a sudden it's like, oh, just a 21-year-old shooter, not a terrorist, which is what they are.
And not only that, then like the fucking shooter guy gets like his own story, and we need to learn. We need to know about his background and his parents and how he was raised and why did he do this and why this and why that. But if it was somebody who is Muslim or Islamic or whatever, then they're just labeled a terrorist and that's it.
Exactly.
There's no looking into his mental health and all that shit. And the fact that these motherfuckers are killing so many people, and not to sound like a dick, but like they're getting off without dying. Not to say that I want them to die, but
I know, I think they should die. Like, I think that if you went out and you killed people, you should die. I am for the death penalty. There are some people who should not be on this earth. Like, they can put them in a cage and have them jailed for the rest of their life, but they should be killed. You don't deserve to be here. After you've taken 31 people's lives, 49 people's lives, whatever, it doesn't matter. You should not be on this earth. I am totally for the death penalty.
I just don't get how they're making it out in the first place. Like, I'm not even talking about the death penalty. I'm not even talking about it getting that far. After you've shown up on the scene, and we've seen how, like, police are so high-strung or whatever, and you know that this individual has killed 35 people. How in the world is this person not being shot and killed on sight when we have black people who are saying, I can't breathe, and then they're killed.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that doesn't make any sense at all.
I think because sometimes they want to, they want to know the full story behind it, and sometimes they're only going to get that if that person's alive and they can talk about it, or the person surrenders and then they get taken away. I also wanted to go back to what you were saying about when the media portrays like a white shooter, how they'll go back into their history and then they'll be like, oh, he went to school here, he had this going for him, oh, but he had mental illness, he had this and that, and they try to humanize this person to make the public less angry about the crime and be like, oh, but it was not his fault because he had a mental illness. While if it is a brown shooter, someone who's Muslim or any type of brown, honestly, the media will only go back and talk about maybe the negative things that he might, or that person might have had. Yeah, I can say he because there are no female mass shooters. What he's done in his life, like, for example, like his criminal record, and then they'll go and say that to the public and then make the public more angry about it. And I think that that's the media messing with people's heads, trying to get their minds to think that, okay, well, if a brown person does this, then it's something really bad, and all brown people are going to be people who can shoot people up. But then if it's a white person, oh, but this is just one case, and he just had a mental illness.
And it goes down to something even more. Let's just get down to business. If it's a black person, first of all, there's no black shooters. You want to know why? Like, it's so funny because it's like, oh, that person went through a hard time, this person went through that person went through that.
Black people are going through the hardest times.
The hardest times. Would y'all see black people shooting people up? No, the fuck you don't. Because That is some Caucasian ass shit. Like, no, I don't want to like fucking offend anybody, but that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
a black person would never, like, if you talk to black people or you talk about mass shootings, it just
we don't get it. It doesn't compute.
Yeah,
it does not compute. Just because you're going through a hard time doesn't mean that you kill and take somebody else's life. That doesn't make any sense.
And black people don't hate like that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, back to like when black people are like killed by police officers and stuff like that, the media will also do the same bullshit. Well, they'll go back and they'll be like, oh, well, he had a weed charge, so y'all should look at that. Maybe he deserved it. Like, that's...
Maybe he was high.
Yeah, maybe
like,
he was
okay,
high. Maybe
no.
he was doing, like... And just because somebody possessed weed or they were smoking or whatever, doesn't mean that that fucker deserves to, like, die.
Yeah, no. And we all know a weed charge is not a real crime. That is not a real crime to fucking have a possession of weed. Like, okay, really, that's really dramatic.
Yeah, it's just bullshit. And the fact that, like, the media wants to twist the narrative to support white people in general is also bullshit. Like, if you guys are there to give us the news and spread the truth, then say the fucking truth. Don't like.
But that's why it all just depends, like, where you get your news from. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's propaganda out there, and there are going to be news outlets that are paid off in order to make a side look better or make a side look worse. And so it's like you really have to be conscious of where you're receiving your media. Like, fucking Fox News, you know that they're all about Trump. So it's like, don't go to Fox News to try to, like, hear about what the day holds or what happened this past weekend. Like, no, go to reliable news sources.
Yeah, with that being said, I'm going to move on to one of my pet peeves with this whole entire thing where there's a mass shooting and then people are in outrage and these words right here, thoughts and prayers. I'm sending my thoughts and prayers. Save that bullshit for someone else. Thoughts and prayers are great, sure. Thank you. Give me your thoughts, give me your prayers. But at the same time, that's not bringing the person back. It's not helping the family with their funeral costs.
And it's not stopping more mass shootings.
It's not doing... That's the easy way out. That's being like, oh, I'm here for you, and then reaching out your hand, and
pacify the situation.
Yeah, and then coming back and being like, oh, I'm here for you, and then one week later, it's gone. Like, if you're not helping that person financially, you're not helping that by trying to stop this shit from happening again, then you're not helping.
Exactly, something physical. Because, like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna pray for you, but that doesn't exactly bring your kid back. It does not stop this from happening again. It doesn't help you out with the funeral costs. It doesn't help you out 6 months down the road where you're struggling with the grieving process. You know, like, we need to do physical things. And it's like, what I relate that to is when someone tries to, like, does something bad to me and then tries to apologize for it, and then they do the same thing again. Like, I don't care about your apology that one time. I want to see some change behavior. I want to see this not happening again, you know? And I think the only way that we are able as a country to repay these families and to try to, like, make these deaths mean something is to make sure that this doesn't happen again, you know, because when these mass shootings happen, these are people's lives that are being taken away, and not only is it affecting that person who dies and loses their life, it's affecting their mothers, their fathers, their girlfriends, their husbands, their kids. It's affecting a whole slew of people. So it's like, don't apologize for the death and what happened. Make a new law. Make it harder for people to get guns. Like, going back to what we said earlier, yes, I think that a contributing factor to why people are dying like this is the fact that people are able to buy guns at such a young age, but that's not the only reason. We need to have mental health evaluations when people are trying to buy guns. You need to be evaluated to see if you're even mentally capable of owning something that could take people's lives. So you can press a trigger and take someone's life away. Not everyone needs to have that power. You know, that's why some countries don't even allow people to have guns. You know, in England, people don't have guns. And are they having mass shootings every other week? No. But the US, yes, we're having mass shootings every other motherfucking weekend, it seems like. And it's just becoming something that's happening more and more, and no one is doing anything about it. And then President Trump is trying to blame it on other things and trying to act like, okay, well, I'm trying to do something about this, when it's like, no, you're not. You are part of the reason that people are doing this, because you're promoting racism. A lot of these people who come out and do these mass shootings are white nationalists. The El Paso shooter said he wanted to go find Mexicans to kill. Why? Do you think that's any coincidence? No.
I think that the reason why we're having so many shootings right now is also because of Trump. No, for sure. It's for sure because of Trump. Because before he was our president, people were being racist, but they were not being blatantly racist. So the fact that he has now come into office and he's shown us that he is blatantly racist and doesn't give a fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, so now all the people who were hiding under rocks and scared about their views before see that this person who is running our fucking country and he's in charge and he's showing these blatantly racist things. They're like, oh, okay. And not only that, he is causing everybody else who feels that way to come up. And once again, now there's Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and all these people are sharing their hateful ideas, and they feel like they have support from each other because they do. They do have support from each other.
It's now a community, and
yeah.
like the leader of our country, the leader of the free world,
is the leader
also
of that community.
feels
yeah.
the same way. Also, yeah, is also the leader of that community, and like. None of this is gonna stop while he is in office, of course.
And I don't feel like he, with the whole El Paso and the guy who's targeting Mexicans. To be honest, behind closed doors, I doubt Trump is like, oh, I feel so bad that the guy went and did that. He's the main one who's putting.
He's probably like, wow, an American hero.
Yeah, American hero, doing the great old American work. Like he's the same one who's allowing these people who are of Spanish descent to be in cages and be ripped away from their families. And
so why are we surprised that
he's not like outraged by this like shooting? Like
exactly,
it's fucking bullshit. I think all of it's bullshit, and I think that we need to be angry. People need to be fucking angry. We need to show people that we're angry. We need to stand up with our votes, with our protests, everything. Like. To be honest, I would give away that right if I had the ability to.
The right to bear arms?
Yeah, the right to bear arms.
Yeah,
like, my dad has a gun, and at first it took me a while to like understand why he did it, but I get it now. He has a gun because the world that we live in today is not the world that we lived in when he was younger. So he feels like if somebody's going to break in and somebody's going to cause danger or cause harm, he needs to have protection. And to be honest, I think
especially being a black man.
I think a lot of Americans feel that way, which is why everybody's like, oh, I need my right. Okay, cool. I agree with that. I agree with my dad. But at the same time, I don't agree with you having weapons that are military grade and meant to mow down 50 to 60 people. Doesn't make any fucking sense. It makes no fucking sense at all. Like at that point, you're not trying to protect yourself. At that point, that's excessive.
It's excessive, yeah, for sure.
And I guess everyone's question is, okay, well, where's the line? Where do we draw the line at excessive?
I think it can't be like automatic firearms. It can't be semi-automatic. None of that. Like you do not need to fire more than one bullet at a time.
Yeah, for sure.
There is absolutely no reason for you to have a fucking machine gun under your bed. Like if you feel the need to have that, you are a fucking psycho.
Yeah, and if you feel that in danger, then why are you here?
Why are you here?
Yeah. There's a lot. Like when I was in Europe, the police officers and the law enforcement in Europe don't have guns. They have flashlights and shit like that.
Well, in like England they do, but then in Amsterdam, remember in the airport they had machine guns.
Well, yeah, you're right. But when I was in London, that's where I saw that
England
they didn't
doesn't have guns.
Nothing. And to be honest, it's weird because I felt the safest while I was there. Just because they have CCTVs, which are cameras on the lights or whatever, and when you go in, like when I was going out to nightclubs and shit like that and partying, they took my ID, they scanned it, and my ID came up on like this screen.
Oh, really?
So they knew exactly who I was. They had my ID. They knew exactly where I was from.
Don't try any shit, bitch.
Yeah, they knew it. They knew fucking everything. And at the same time, when I'm like, oh, this is kind of invasive. At the same time, they know exactly who's there. They know who's going,
really low
who's coming. Yeah, they know all that shit. If you are going to go in there and you're going to do some fuck shit, they know who you are. They know where you are. They know your address. They know all that shit. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if we want to feel more safe, we need to go towards that.
Yeah, something more peaceful. And I think that now, moving forward, we need to get to the root of why this is happening. You know, of course we can change the gun laws and stuff like that, but people are always going to, smuggle guns in. You know, there's ways to get everything in this country. Banning something is not going to take it away and it's not going to change it, you know? I think we need to get to the root of why this is happening, the root of the hate, you know? Because these are like crimes of passion. These are hate crimes. There's obviously a reason that they're doing it. They don't just do it arbitrarily. So we need to like address the mental health issues that go behind it and then try to fix it from within, you know, instead of trying to mask it and make it into something that it's not. We need to have better mental health institutions in place and evaluations in place for people who are struggling and make it an environment where they feel comfortable in coming to someone to be like, I am having these thoughts and I do want to do this and I don't know why and I want to stop it. You know, like I think maybe in public school they should have maybe classes on mental health or mental health evaluations on the kids, because these are obviously young people that are doing this, and then they're obviously going through the system and no one's acknowledging that they have an issue. And I know, just like you've been in school with me and like we've been in school and we've seen people who we feel like I would not be surprised if they were to shoot someone up or a place up, because you can see that they're mentally distraught and they hate people, you know? And I'm like, why are those people getting through the system and no one's addressing it, and teachers are seeing it and students are seeing this, and we're letting these people go on in life, you know? There's a bigger issue at hand, and it starts from within people, the reason that they're doing it, the ideas that they're getting taught, you know, at a young age. I'm not sure what their parents are telling them, but there's a reason why there are no black shooters. And when you're raised in a black home, that's not even an idea that anyone has, you know? But then why are white people mass shooters? You know, what's happening? What's the dialogue that is missing within that relationship?
I don't know. I agree with that, but at the same time, I'm like, I know so many. I know of people who are white who hate just to hate. So at that point, I don't think it's a mental issue. I think that the parents are spewing this hate and they are teaching their children this hate. So
Like
at
passing
that,
the hate down.
yeah. So at that point, it's not a mental health problem. It's not a. It is a who you were raised with or who
But
you're
that's
raised
what I'm
by
saying,
problem.
like the dialogue between like the parents and the kids, because obviously, like, remember that guy that we hung out with downtown a couple of years ago, and he was like from Winter Park and was super racist because he was wasted. Do you
Yeah,
remember? And he's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, like his parents are like that. Okay, so yes, they're passing on that hate, but it's like the thing about it is that just because your parents tell you something doesn't mean that you're gonna adopt that ideology. You know, you can hear your parents tell you something and you can know that it's wrong.
I don't know. At the same time, America was built on this hate, so I don't think that it's not something that's going to change. I think that there's always going to be a hierarchy in a system, and white people feel like they're at the top of that hierarchy. And whenever they feel like they're losing that control or losing that power, that's where that hate comes in. They will always hate something that's different than them. It's just like I said.